Hey guys, Brendan with TJ's Tackle. Back to pouring again. We went in, shot some videos, and now I'm back out here to actually pour some jigs and show you how I do it. Again, there's a million different ways you can do this. This is what works for me. This is what I've been doing for 20 years. I've tweaked it here and there. This is the process that works the best for me. So when I went in, I had the lead in there. I had my mixture of lead, like I said. I had put my mold on top to get heated up. There are some molds that I don't preheat, but a lot of them I do. Each mold is different, so if I've got a mold that requires more than just straight pouring, I'll put my notes rate on the mold so I remember it when I pour. And that way I'll see it and I'll know to do that, so I'll get my good pours. Some of them won't fill in all the way, or they got to tilt them funny. Some of them you have to put right up to the bottom to pour like this. Some of them you don't have to. Again, feel it out and you'll find out how to do that. When I'm pouring my jigs, this mold here has multiple sizes in it. If I wanted to do multiple sizes, I don't do them all at the same time. The personal preference again. And the reason for that is because when I put my hooks out, I sprinkle all the hooks out like this. For me, it's all about getting into a groove when I'm pouring. Now I can pull those jigs out, those hooks out, and do it quickly one at a time. I'll pour, and wait for it to dry. Because this is so hot, and this is the soft lead, it'll take a second for it to dry, so you can see it in the sprue when it solidifies. And now this is way easier for me than trying to pick out one hook of each kind and stick it in the mold. I knock them that way. I have to keep them straight on here. They can get together. I can get them mixed up. I don't do it that way. This is the way I do it. As a general rule, I fill my pot up to whatever size jig that I'm pouring. If I'm pouring 1 ounces, I'll fill it all the way to the top. If I'm doing half ounces, I start halfway. And the reason is because of the pressure that gets down. And again, you can adjust it with this screw right here. You can adjust the pour. Watch. If I unscrew this and drop it down a little bit and pour, you're going to watch how fast that comes out of there. See how fast that comes out? Now if I go back, I can control the pour, and that's helpful for me for controlling how well they pour and how well the flashing is. You know, even that's a little strong. Again, not a lot of guys play with this, but I do it all the time. I had it right where I want. You can remember where it's at. But see, you just want a nice slow pour. That's how I do it. I'll pour all my jigs, get a pile of them, and then when I'm done, I'll sprue that whole pile. I get my lead mixture and I put the pucks in. Again, I use my pliers for putting the pucks in so I don't burn myself. And then as I'm spruing, by the time I get these all sprued and bagged up, my lead's ready to go again for the next level. There are guys that'll tell you they keep their pot full all the time. I don't. I will let mine go down to the bottom. I do clean it off occasionally. Just using this. Probably not a bad idea to wear eye protection when you're doing this. So just scoop that off. But again, I'm starting with very clean lead. I've cleaned the lead, did that as a whole separate process, so my ingots are nice and clean. I want to show you, there are some guys that use a flux. This is just some paraffin wax that I have here. I want to show you, if you do flux, what's going to happen if that lead is hot enough. Don't look over it when you're doing that. That'll come right up in your face. So be really careful if you're fluxing, if you're using the wax. Other guys use sawdust or other types of things. I personally don't fully understand why you need to flux. So I haven't for a number of years, and I haven't had any problems with it. Again, I don't smoke my molds. I don't spray the graphite in the molds. If I'm pulling them out, you'll notice when I pulled that out, I pulled it out. If the hook is below the bottom of the mold, I just pull it out by the hook. If the hook, I'll do another one. Nope, that's below it. Yeah, I'll do it anyways. So if the hook isn't below, I just open it and I just use my screwdriver and tap it out. Again, same with the smaller ones. That is how I found to do it. It works well. If you just push on the sprue, it should come out pretty easily. A lot of these kinds, the round balls, the flatheads, things like that, you can just dump them out. But the harder ones, I use the screwdriver and I tip it on the sprue. The other thing I want to talk about is there's the guys that will put it under here and do the whole big long line at once. I don't do that because I found that my pour rate, my successful pour rate, isn't as high as putting it underneath there and just doing one at a time. Again, personal preference. There's going to be guys that say you're full of crap, don't do it that way. This is what works for me, guys. That's all I'm trying to say. Hopefully I'll help somebody out. That's all I got for you.